So here's the number one concern I hear from clients all over the world, whether they are with large corporations, small corporations, government agencies, UN agencies. Here it is. They say, TJ, we hear more and more about podcasting. Everyone seems to have a podcast. It seems to be a great medium for reaching audiences we care about. It would be a great way for us to share information from our CEO, our top leader, our product managers. It does seem to be more flexible and easier to reach people than just a traditional blog, which is hard to get attention. It seems a lot easier than doing the whole thing on video like this and bringing people to a TV studio. But still, it seems complicated. I don't know which mic to get, which software program, where do I host it? There's all these questions that revolve around podcasting. And people start by buying microphones, or they start with this package, or maybe building an audio studio. 6 months go by and they just get befuddled with all the details. And next thing you know it, 6 months, a year have gone by and nothing has happened. So it's a frustration I can understand. Because here's the thing, podcasting, audio podcasting, not what I'm doing here with video, but audio podcasting, I do believe is a great medium. It's perhaps the most exciting medium today as far as your ability to create content, reach customers, prospects, your own employees, key groups you care about, shareholders, and to do it in a way that is frankly more interesting and engaging than just a text press release or a blog post. But here's the problem. Even though it's easier than doing a TV show, it's easier than producing a whole book, there's still an awful lot of pesky little details. Which mic do I use? What recording system? What software? What sort of headsets do I need? Do I record by Skype? Do I have to have people in person? What's the best hosting system to use? Even though it's relatively simple to work your way through all this, it's also easy to get lost. And even if you have a smart, intelligent person focusing on it, while it's possible to figure it out in 50 or 100 hours, it's more likely to take 500 hours or even 1,000 hours. I've now produced more than 1,000 podcasts, and if you count the video podcast, more than 10,000 over the last 10 years. And while I'm not any smarter than anyone else necessarily, I have put the time in to figure out what's the simplest way to do things. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I've figured out there's a gap in the marketplace. There are a lot of podcasting services that say, produce your audio, we'll edit it, take the uhs and ums out. The problem is, how do you start? Again, where do you get that microphone, that digital recorder? Do you record on your computer? So I just listen to my clients, and here's what I've come up with. I can simply call you through Skype from here in my own studio. I've got all the high-quality microphones, the expensive equipment, even though it's not that expensive. So you don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is be at a computer. I'll actually mail you a microphone that's high quality that you just plug into your computer. And that way, all you have to do is be able to talk about your product. I take care of everything else. I interview you, I give you a little prep before, put your colleagues through a little training so they feel comfortable with this, and then I'll edit on the intro, the outro, level it, compress it, make it sound a little better, put it up onto a serving system like Libsyn, which is something you don't need to know about, make sure it gets into iTunes, and then feed it out to your Facebook page, your corporate website, your corporate blog, your Twitter page, your LinkedIn page, all these places so you can start communicating with your customers, your prospects, your key stakeholders, and your own employees. So it's a very, very simple system. Could you do all this your own? Sure, you absolutely could, but do you really have anyone in your organization who can devote the time, energy, and resources to learning how to do this and getting over the initial hump of putting it all together and getting a show out. That's why I've created this system. Now, many of you have hired me in the past to teach you how to be comfortable for podcast, how to look good on camera if you're doing a YouTube video, how to sound comfortable if you're going to do an audio podcast. And that's important, but if you don't actually put it all together, it's frankly all the waste. So that's why I've come up with this new service that's meant to simplify your life. You just have to make a decision. Do you want to do a once a week podcast where I interview you or someone in your organization? Do you want to do it once a month? Or do you want to do a daily show and have different people within your organization be interviewed? Now, the beauty of this is you don't have to write it all out. You don't have to write the questions in advance. And you have total control. If you don't like something, it can always be edited out. You can always hit delete for that matter. So it's a very risk-free way to be broadcasting to the world. Now, I've laid out several options below if you're watching this on my blog at mediatrainingworldwide.com. And it basically comes down to, do you want to do this once a month, once a week, or once a day? If you want to start with once a month, it really is as simple as $1,500 a month to get going. And that way you can just start. You can start with a podcast be up in iTunes, and the world can see it and hear it within 1 week. It's not that time consuming. Yeah, you can do it all yourself, but if you've been putting this on your to-do list for the last month, 6 months, year, 5 years, or even 10 years, this can be a way to get you up. And you may want to work with me for the first year and then take it over. You're not wedded to me. This is your show. You own it. It's your brand. It's not going to be about me. I'm going to be sort of the generic host asking you questions to put a spotlight on what it is you do and what you want people to know. So if you'd like more information about this, just give me a call. 212-764-4955. Thanks.